What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how you can make over $1,000 a day trading in the crypto market. Now, if you're new here, my name is Rashid. I'm a day trader here in Dubai, and we're going to be breaking down exactly how you can make a ton of money day trading. Now, it is not as complicated as it seems, so I'm going to try to make it as simple as possible and give you guys a full trade breakdown on how I make money and how you can too. Now, if you guys are new to crypto trading and are looking for a platform to trade on, I personally use BYBIT. They are by far the best exchange, and I'd highly suggest using my link down in the description below to take advantage of a sign-up bonus. So again, if you guys are new to trading and are looking for an exchange, I use BYBIT. And for whatever reason, if BYBIT does not work in your country, then I would suggest using Blofin. They're a non-KYC exchange, and they are phenomenal. Now, we're going to be diving in straight into the charts, and this trade was on the ticker of ING. So ING doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what type of coin. Now, one thing I want to make very clear in the crypto market is it doesn't matter what the coin is. To be honest, most of these coins are bullshit. They don't matter. And what matters the most is the structure of the chart, because the chart is what talks to us. The chart is what's going to show us whether there's opportunity or not. Not the utility of the coin, not what the coin can do or how funny it is. No, it's all about the structure of the chart. So the first thing I do before I even start trading within a day is I start scanning through my watch list on TradingView. And the first thing I want to do is I want to look for a daily bias. So the way I do this is I go through 3 time frames. I go through the daily chart, the 4-hour chart, and the 1-hour chart. If 2 out of the 3 of those time frames are bullish, then I'm going to be looking for longs. If 2 out of 3 of them are bearish, then I'm going to be looking for shorts. Now, in this case, if we were to look at ING on the 4-hour chart, but just before we do that, I'm going to reverse the chart so you guys can see exactly what I saw. Now, I'm also going to get rid of all my drawings so you guys can see exactly my mental process and how I draw out the chart and what I did exactly A to Z to complete this trade. So now that I've removed my drawings, the first thing we're going to do is go through the daily time frame. And if we look at the daily time frame, it's clearly in a bearish downtrend. It's making lower highs and lower lows just until very recently, probably in the past week, it made a new lower high. But clearly on the day chart, it is on a downwards trend. Now, if we go to the 4-hour chart, again, it is on a downwards trend. But if we zoom in closely, we'll see that it is kind of on an upwards trend. Now, if we go on the 1-hour chart as well, it is on an upwards trend as well, and it hasn't made a recent low. Now, when I'm looking at this chart, 2 out of the 3 time frames look like they're moving towards the upside than the downside. So I would rather look for longs. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw on the chart just so we can get a good understanding, because the moment you start drawing on the chart, things get more visual. So if we just break down my drawing here, I have all my support and resistance lines set up from the daily time frame. And that's all the red lines that you see. We see that ING has broken a resistance level. It is now above a resistance level. And we can also see a clear channel on the upside trend. We can see it through the 1-hour and the 4-hour. Now, if we go through the 1-hour, we can see that it's creating an upwards channel. It's bouncing throughout this trend line. It bounced through a support here. It bounced through a resistance and the trend line over here and made a new high. So higher high, higher low, higher high. And now it's coming towards a few things. And now this is where patience is very key, because we want to let the trade come to us. We don't want to rush into a market order using leverage and then get liquidated or stopped too early. We want to make sure that our entry is perfect. So what I did exactly is I drew out this channel and I'm waiting for the trade to come to me. Now, there was a few validations on why I took this trade. Number 1, it broke a resistance level, and when resistance gets broken, it then becomes support. So it's now approaching support. That's validation number 1. Validation number 2 is that it's approaching the trend line, and it's very probable that it's going to bounce on the trend line and the support line. Validation number 3 is that it's approaching the 50-day EMA on the 1-hour time frame, which is another very strong indicator that it should bounce on the EMA. And then last but not least, this purple box that I drew out over here is a supply and demand zone. So using all of these indications, I was very, very confident that this is going to continue pushing to the upside. Now, if we just watch how this plays out, we'll see that it breaks the support, quickly sweeps through it, bounces on the trend line and the EMA, which is why we entered the trade after we saw the reversal happen. So I always want to be patient enough and see, is it going to bounce and move to the upside, or is it going to bounce and then reject the bounce and continue to the downside? It's very, very important that you wait in a situation like this and find clear direction. So watching this trade play out, we waited till it entered the supply and demand zone and all our other validations. We entered the trade around 1955 and we TP'd right around 19.9, which was a safer spot to TP rather than above 20, which is a psychological number. And we had a clear 1-to-3 risk to reward ratio. Now, it doesn't matter how much money I made in this situation, because depending on what you risk, you can also make 1-to-3. So in this case, I made $1,000 off this trade, which means I risked $333 to make $999, which means if you wanted to risk $50, you could have made $150. If you risked $1,000, you could have made $3,000. But the point being is that we use risk management and validations to increase our probability and have a successful trade. And this was, in my opinion, a 10 out of 10 trade, a very, very clean setup. And I think you can definitely learn a lot from this. Again, guys, it's very, very important that you draw out the chart as much as possible. You look for your daily bias, you look for supply and demand zones, you draw your trend lines, you have your EMAs in place, and you can easily find setups like this. It's just very important that you stay patient and you don't force trades. You don't dive into it the moment you look at a chart. You gotta wait, you gotta draw it out, maybe, create like possibility number 1, possibility number 2, because in this case, if I'm looking at this trade, this, in my opinion, looked like a long because it bounced again on 3 or 4 validations. But instead, if we were to reverse this chart, I'm gonna pull out the marker over here very quickly. What could have happened instead is that it actually could have broke the trend line. And in that case, what I would do is I would wait. I would wait to see what would happen, because it's possible that it would just wick through and then continue to the upside. Now that's possibility number 1. Possibility number 2 is that it actually continues to the downside, reverses, retests the trend line. And if I see that there is struggle retesting the trend line because there's also that EMA that it broke through, then what would happen is it would reject the trend line, reject the EMA, and then take it to the downside. And in that case, I would be entering a short, and I would risk the same level. I would have it above this candle right here, above the support, which became resistance in that case, and I'd have the same 1-to-3 risk to reward ratio. All I had to do was just wait to see what would happen. And there you have it, folks. That is how I made over $1,000 trading in the crypto futures market in less than a day. Now, if you guys enjoy videos like this, I'm going to be dropping a ton of bombs and a ton of gems, all for free on this channel. So just make sure to subscribe, hit the like button. And again, if you guys are new to trading and are looking for a platform to trade on, I personally use BYBIT. I think they're the best. And if BYBIT doesn't work for you, then I suggest using Blowfin. Both are linked down in the description below, and they both have sign-up bonuses. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. My name is Rashid Banks. Stay tuned for the next video. Peace.